Congratulations, New Caney Journalism. Their feature story about sports injuries was picked top in Texas by UIL ILPC this past weekend. Students traveled to the University of Texas last weekend for the judging. Their stories were submitted in advance and judged, with New Caney coming out with a first place win. Students Sarah Laura, Cullen Frankenberger, and Melissa Mesa produced the story related to the sports injuries. There was also an on-site competition, and students were given 2 days to produce a video related to the convention. We are waiting for the results on that competition, and we'll let you know who won next week. We'll also look at the video produced by Sarah Laura and Billy Elliott. Stay tuned. The broadcast journalism competition is conducted every year, and videos are submitted before everyone gathers on the UT campus. The New Caney entry was about a student injured in athletics and how his life changed.
I think it's great that we won first place because we put a lot of work into this, and I really feel like we deserved it. So, yeah.
I felt very accomplished when I found out that we got first place, and it was definitely worth all that hard work that we put into this video.
How did you come up with the idea for the story?
Well, I've been around sports all my life, and throughout the number of years you see all these injuries happen to multiple people, including myself, and you just want to come up with something and just create awareness for everything. And so
The video that we produced at Austin was I guess very awkward because I had to interview strangers, and I felt weird because I actually had to talk to them and be like, hey, do you want to get interviewed? And it was also a lot of pressure because I had only one day to do everything, which was like doing video work and editing and producing music for it. But in the end, it ended up being really well, and I loved it, and hopefully it does.
Now we will take a look at the on-site video produced during the conference in Austin.
There has been many changes in our society and economy, and one of which would be technology. Of course, journalism has been impacted by technology in a major run throughout the decades. To take a look at the story, I'm Sarah Laura.
Students and teachers all came to the ILPC convention in Austin, Texas to look at that issue.
With technology the way it's moving so quickly and its impact in journalism in the future, I think we'll see more and more people being citizen journalists.
Back then it used to be print, so people would have to wait every day until the newspaper got published. But nowadays, with the online thing, news has become so much more instantaneous.
The newspaper industry is kind of going away because of the use of the internet.
In today's society, people no longer have to wait for the newspaper. They can just tune into the radio, television, or just find out through social media.
Without technology, you can't really design as much, and if you mess up, you've got to start all the way over. But with things like Photoshop, you can press the back button, you can start over.
People can now just use their cell phone to report the news, and I think that's real exciting. But it also comes with a lot of caution.
Technology has impacted journalism as well as the world we live in today, and will continue to do so in years to come.
Smartphones are changing a lot of things right now with technology as far as journalism goes.
The most advanced technology and news coverage that I've seen is the ability to carry video on the internet.
So I think that technology is definitely making a huge impact.
With a look at how technology has impacted journalism, I'm Sarah Laura.
Now we'll take a look at the award-winning UIL feature story after this.
May 8th, my club that I sponsor, School of Rock, will be putting on a performance in the main auditorium. It's comprised, the performance will be mostly students, but there will be teachers involved as well, including myself. It's a rock concert performance where my students will be showcasing songs from several of these bands: AC/DC, Panic at the Disco, the White Stripes, and a whole lot more. And it'll probably go a little over an hour or so. It's May 8th at 6 p.m., main auditorium, and tickets will be on sale at the door for $2.
A recent sports lawsuit awarded millions towards football players has attracted attention towards sports injuries.
I played an entire game with a broken neck that I didn't even know of.
Many live and breathe sports, but some pay the price.
This particular player goes up for a layup, comes down his leg, and as he came down, he immediately just fell. He crumbled, and I knew it was something serious.
I fractured my ankle and torn all the ligaments in it, and now since then I've just been rehabbing it, and just watching my team go on without me and watching them practice just sucks, because once you build a relationship and a family with them, it sucks not being able to be there for your brother.
You know, a part of it, I guess, you know, when you do the sports, and you know, it's a risk that a lot of us end up with, you know, injuries and whatnot. I was fortunate enough to not have any major injuries.
When I had broken my neck for the first time, I thought maybe, you know, it'd be all right for me to go back into sports and start playing football again.
The proposed agreement, which was hashed out during court-ordered mediation and announced Thursday, includes $675 million to a compensation fund, $75 million for medical exams, and $10 million for a research and education fund.
The doctor said that I'm very lucky for where it broke, and that I should be really careful, so I had made the decision to stop playing sports.
As a parent, it's very hard to see your child get hurt.
You've got to determine how serious the injury is, and if they're going to be okay, first off, to come back into the game. And if not, the seriousness of the injury, if it takes them out of the game, my word becomes how will it affect them in the long term. So.
It's very nerve-wracking when your child is under anesthesia and is in surgery and having to wait for that.
It was tough watching my kid go through it.
I had been a running back and a wide receiver for years, and I used to be the fastest kid in my hometown. The record there was for a 100-meter dash was at 10.3, and I ran 10.7. All the time that I'd put into it, I felt like was for nothing. But then the doctor said I could still, you know, march band and stuff. And so I continued marching. I went into theater, and I found out that I'm pretty good at it. I mean, that's all I had to replace the sports time that I had given up.
National Football League has agreed to pay $765 million to settle thousands of player lawsuits over head injuries, a deal that both sides declared a win for retired athletes with debilitating brain damage.
Those injuries can haunt you for as long as you live, and you're always going to feel weather changes, your knee's going to hurt, or my other son broke his foot several years back, and he still has pain in his foot. So, you know, it's just take care of yourself. That's what I would tell my students.
My advice for athletes is to make sure that you are working out the correct way. Make sure you're doing your lifts the correct way. Make sure that you don't start out too quick when you come back from an injury. Do what your physical therapists tell you to do.
With a look at sports stories, I'm Sarah Lara.